Hi everybody, it's the Mike Pingel Show. I'm Mike Pingel. And today I have Peter. Peter, how do you pronounce your last name? Because I keep butchering everyone's last names.
It's okay. It's Peter Signs, like Heinz ketchup, but Signs.
I would never know that.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't have gotten. Sorry, thank you so much.
It's a nice Sephardic name.
Yeah, because I mispronounced it on my live shot that I did last week, so. Oops. But I seem to be mispronouncing everybody's last names. And that's funny because my last name is Pingel, and people always mispronounce it. Always say tingle, dingle, pringle, tingle, single, tringle. Are you a potato chip? That's what they always say.
Yeah, pretty nice.
And I say, no, I'm not a potato chip, but I am savory tasty.
Right?
All right, Peter is the writer of the novels Coven of Wolves. He has done two books, and there's a third. It's kind of like one would call it a series of books.
Yeah, so it's a trilogy, and I put down.
I like that better.
3.
Trilogy. Trilogy is better.
Yeah, Trilogy of Terror. I actually put down book 3 just because I wanted a little break, and I picked it back up, and hopefully that'll be back out this fall. So look for it on Amazon and all your other online
right before
stores.
Christmas. Ready for Christmas.
Yeah,
so you can get the whole set for Christmas. Let's see what else. What else is my producers wrote down here to say about you? Let's see. You've also written stories for 5 anthologies.
Yes, I was actually just in my my writing. I met so many either established writers or people who really wanted to be writers, and I just collaborated with a lot of them, and we were able to just put a lot of really good works. Right now, the latest anthology just came out last month.
Detours.
Yes, Detours Through Liminal Space. That was coordinated through my good friend David Warner.
Okay.
And we did fantasy, we did horror, so with this book we were trying to just, branch out, so this is a good sci-fi book.
Sci-fi.
Yeah. Lots of fun stuff.
What is your story in there? What is the story about?
It's called All in Day's Work, and it basically is about a detective, gumshoe detective, but he is on a space station. And runs into like a lot of fun adventures on a case there. And you'll just have to read it and find out how things work out.
Alright, there you go.
Yeah.
Space Cowboy.
Yeah, and again, it's available like on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, any online bookstore.
And next weekend you're going to be at Geek Out UCR. What is the UCR?
UCR is University of California, Riverside. So,
okay.
Yeah, so UC Riverside is putting together a pop culture convention. It's free. All you have to do is just go to Eventbrite and register for a free ticket. It's going to be on Saturday, February 17th. I will be at one of the tables signing my various books, and look forward to seeing everybody there.
So, okay, let's dive into Coven of Wolves a bit. Tell everybody what are the novels about? Although I think they're about wolves. I could be wrong.
Growing up, I've been a huge horror fan, and out of all the horror monsters, my favorite was the werewolf. It's kind of like the whole dichotomy of being everyone's seeing one side of you, and then at night you're something else completely, and then you get to play dual roles. I thought that was always fun. So I also like witches, and in the books you usually have one or the other. And I thought, well, it'd be kind of fun to play on that, and what if you have a werewolf who's also a witch? And on top of it, because I'm a gay man and I really enjoy gay stories, I'm a big advocate of having the hero be LGBT and not just the sidekick.
Okay.
So my book series has a gay character who is the lead and runs throughout the entire series. He starts off as a witch on the run from a coven that he unfortunately thought was a good thing and ended up not being that way. And along the way he upsets a pack of werewolves. So things just culminate from there, and it leads into these 2 books and then into the final 3rd trilogy, which will be called Coven of Wolves, God War.
Okay. So is the sidekick gay too?
His sidekick is actually his boyfriend.
What?
Yes. That was a really fun way that how
so
they
you did fall into the stereotype, the sidekick being little ambiguous.
Yeah, but actually it's a good thing because in this case it's a gay romance, and it's a huge epic. my whole thing is I would love to see like a movie like Blade Runner, or Indiana Jones, but instead of having like a gay lead, and of course they always have a love interest. So that's his love interest.
Okay, so with the love interest, do they do it as wolves or as humans? Question. Go ahead.
Actually, I got asked about how erotic my books were going to be, and actually not very.
Okay.
There's a lot of romance in it. There's a lot of stuff that happened, but it's not very graphic in the erotica field. But if you love adventure, if you love really good characters, if you love supernatural themes,
nope, none of those.
Coven of Wolves is great for you.
What was the most exciting thing, challenge about writing the books for you?
It was my first books ever. I had never written. I've always been a big fan of different authors. I love J.K. Rowling's series. I grew up with Roald Dahl, like the whole Charlie and Chocolate Factory, Judy Blume. Great. Love all her stuff. So I loved all these different like authors who went into like a fantasy world. And this was my first outing in trying to just do it.
Now, we just heard a little sample of your sister's song. Tell us a little bit about how that came about. Tell me about your sister and the song.
So, my sister, her name is Amanda Sines, and she has been singing since we were kids. Actually, my mom and my aunt grew up as a singing duo in South Texas. They would be on the radio doing jingles for commercials and like local radio stations. So music was always in our house. And fortunately, my sister picked up my mom's ability to sing. And she is a huge cheerleader supporter of everything that I do. I really love her so much for that. So she and I got together and thought it would be kind of cool to come up with like a soundtrack song. And so I got together with her, I wrote some of the lyrics down. She came up with the beat, she did her own vocals, and came up with the Coven of Wolves single, which you can actually pick up on Amazon, iTunes, a lot of online websites. And it originally meant for Coven of Wolves to get spun off into its own pilot. So in the back of my mind, this is also, if that were to ever happen, would be the theme song, the opening theme song.
It was good. I listened to it.
Yeah,
I heard the thing.
It's a really good beat.
I heard werewolves in the background. What is your favorite character in Coven of Wolves?
I think I like the main character Devin only because I can relate to him so much. If you're put into like the situations, it's a lot of different things that would happen that I can relate to, like how I would have to think about things, and he's just very relatable.
Great. What character in these books resemble you? Is there one that looks like that you kind of modeled up to yourself?
I did name, I did have a few people that I do know that are based off characters. Not really me per se. Like I said, I relate to the main character, but it's not really based off of me. It's just characters that I think, in my mind, would be really kind of cool and I give them like their own spin, and there might be like little hints of this person, little hints of that person, but they're really their own characters, and they've just grown organically. In book 3, completely a different place from book 1, and it's a lot of fun to go into.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to cast this into a movie tomorrow, who would you cast in the lead?
That's kind of hard. There's so many really good people out there. It's funny. The first person that I came to mind whenever I was writing as far as potential people actually was his dad. His dad. I was thinking of Joe Landau, who is mostly known for his work in Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. Later on he went into a similar series called The Secret Circle, and I was able to meet him once, and he just stood out in a crowd, and I thought that would be an awesome role. And whenever I was pitching the pilot, I actually cast someone else who I thought was really great for the part also, Michael Viccaro, who's like a local LA actor. He's just amazing. For the lead, I don't know, there's quite a few. Kevin Zegers comes to mind. He's a little quirky actor who's just kind of adorable and can like totally play that adventure role really good. That'd be a lot of fun.
Well, I hope that happens.
Yeah.
Maybe someone out there will
Nice.
say, "Let's do it. Let's do it." What's for you working as a writer? What's the difference between writing a novel and maybe a short story? What do you use different tactics to tackle those things, or?
When you're writing a novel, it's either which way you have to basically set up in your mind an outline, what characters you want to use, where you want them to go, flesh them out. With a short story, it's kind of fun because it's not as long. You don't have to take as much time as a full book, but it's just a lot more quick-paced, and because it's so fast, a lot of things come to mind, and actually with those I get a little bit more into like the action sequences. Those are always really fun for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talking about action sequences, that was really hard. Those are hard words for me. Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Yes. Guess what, folks? He's a
fan.
huge collector and fan of
so
Wonder Woman. Now, okay, let's break this down. Are you a fan of Linda, or are you just a fan of the comic books, or both?
Well, it's funny because whenever I was growing up, my mom always told me that I watched it in syndication, and so supposedly as a toddler, I would sit there just in awe watching the screen. So I grew up with Linda Carter, but growing up, I just became a huge fan of just the character altogether. Okay. So that led into the comic books, and then now into Gal Gadot with the new movie series, and I think the character herself represents so much to so many people. Free thinking, independent. Liberated, a lot of great things. So, right after the movie came out, the solo movie, then Justice League came out. And that was like so much fun because you get to see Wonder Woman interacting with all these other iconic DC characters like Superman and Batman. It was just so much fun. And then now, being so successful, obviously they went on to now greenlighting Wonder Woman 2, which will take us in the 80s. And during the Cold War, so we'll see how that goes.
And Linda Carter's supposed to be in it. I haven't spoken to her, and I haven't figured out what's going on, but I'll find out soon. She's going to be in town.
Yeah, excitedly. Yeah, I saw she was going to be at the Catalina Jazz Club in March.
In March.
Yeah.
She'll be in there in March. Just a couple more questions. What is your favorite werewolf movie?
That is pretty easy. Growing up, there was one movie that I thought was so awesome. It was like having a horror movie kind of mixed in with the Goonies. It's called Silver Bullet. Starring Corey Haim.
Yes.
And Gary Busey. It's just so much fun. It's not like the typical horror movie. It has a lot of those same traits, but if you really look at the movie, it's all about the relationship between the brother and sister, and how they go from bickering and hating each other to working together and like finding out, I really do love you even though you're my sister, kind of thing. It's really sweet, but it's my favorite.
It's a lovely, hearty movie.
Yeah.
It's a family film.
There's some werewolves and killing in it, but it's a very family-friendly movie.
Yeah. Werewolves and killings. What was my favorite? The Halloween was really good with Dee Wallace.
Loved her.
Loved that.
And Robert Ricardo.
Yeah. And of course, Fright Night.
Love for Fright Night.
Fright Night, but that's more vampires.
Yeah, there was. They do change into a wolf in one scene, and there was a werewolf in the sequel, but that is such an iconic horror movie.
Yeah, of course, an American Werewolf in London when they do that, and they turn. That was like I think the first time we actually saw a human being like kind of turn into a werewolf with the slow caption.
Yeah, Mr. Naughton, who likes to be a pepper too. Yeah, but he was really great in that movie, and again, I love the whole series. So like, I loved Tom Everett Scott in the sequel too. A lot of people weren't really crazy they used CGI wolves, but it was still a really fun and quirky movie.
Yes, and I do love Underworld.
Yes,
Underworld. I love that series.
Yeah,
they're all werewolves, right? There's werewolves. What they call? They don't call them werewolves. They're called
the Lycans.
The Lycans,
which is kind of funny because up until that movie, if you had a werewolf movie, you just called them werewolves. As soon as Underworld came out and they referred them to Lycans, all these other new werewolf movies came out, and all of a sudden there's no more werewolves. No, they're all Lycans. Also.
They're all Lycans.
Yeah. So it did inspire a lot of people. Yeah.
That's what happened. That's what's going to happen with these wonderful books.
Yes, yes.
Coven of Wolves. You can meet this amazing author next weekend and tell everybody where they can meet you, see you, buy your books.
It'll be at UC Riverside. It's going to be on Saturday, February 17th. That's a free event. Just go to Eventbrite and you can get your free tickets there. I will be at one of the booths signing my books, and I'll be happy to meet everyone out there.
And where can they just see you online? Because there's millions of people watching this.
Yeah, I do have more information on that. It's on my website, petersaenz.com. That's Peter SAENZ.com. You can find out more about me there.
Exactly. Can you buy books there, or do you just direct them to Amazon?
There are links to go to Amazon. Yeah.
So you can't buy a signed copy of?
No, but I'd be more than happy to sign anything that people bring to me.
Sorry to point that out, people. You just have to go to Amazon. Life is Amazon. Do you know that?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, thank you for coming in.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for doing the show.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for watching the Mike Pingel Show here on Behind the Curtain TV. Next week, we're going to be on a Tuesday next week, I believe, but just watch. I'll be posting when. It's my birthday week. I'm going to turn 50 next week, so I'm not going to be doing a live show. Well, I'll be doing a live show. I just don't know when it's going to be. So tune in, watch online, share this with all your friends and neighbors and even enemies. I don't care. Share it with everybody. Thank you for sharing about your books.
Yeah, thank you. And again, I look forward to seeing everybody at UC Riverside.
Yes, get out there. Meet this young man.
Oh, you're too sweet.
I know. Well, everyone's younger than me now because I'm so old. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Be good to each other. Bye now.
Thanks.